Imagine being so desperate for peace in your own home that you turn to TikTok for answers. And what happens next destroys your marriage. This woman says after she married her husband, his family became way too controlling and involved in her household. They were crossing boundaries, controlling decisions, and making her feel like she didn't have a voice in her own marriage. She was so desperate that when she came across this viral TikTok about this ritual that'll make everybody compliant, she wanted to try it. And she did. She says it actually worked. But suddenly things took a turn and her karma caught up to her. In this video, we're going to break down the marriage drama, the toxic in-law situation, TikTok's influence, and the psychological impact behind the decision she made. So hurry up, grab your snacks, kick back, relax as we get into this crazy story time. If you don't already know, I'm Day and this is King's Corner. What up, QC crew? King Day is in the mother building.
Burn it up for so. JBRISKO, not know when it's up. Run that shit, we at all the show. Say that shit for your camera.
Warning. Everything said in this video and on this platform is strictly my opinion and all alleged. Here, we speak about hot topics on YouTube and other social media platforms for entertainment and conversational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. What it do? It's your homie King Day here in King's Corner, and I am back with another reaction video for you. Now look, what up y'all? Today we will be reacting to another video. This lady says she been feeding her people her period blood, her husband and his family and all of that. Look, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. I ain't gonna hold you no longer. I never do. If you mess with me like I mess with you, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. We're gonna get straight into this video. Let's get it. Let go.
I've been feeding my husband and his family period blood for a year now. Story time.
A year?
My husband and I got married on a very complicated note. What I'm trying to say is, when I married my husband, his family was not really into the marriage. They didn't agree with me. Firstly, because of the background that I came from and the different denominations that we went to. Both of us are Christian, but our churches didn't allow us to get married from outside our church. So our marriage started on a basis that most people did not agree with it, but you know how men are. My husband agreed that he would sort it out. My family would eventually like me. And moreover, he told me I wasn't marrying his family. I was marrying him. So I went with the flow. To be honest, I was so in love with my husband. And whatever anyone else had to say about our marriage, I didn't really care. All I wanted to do was just to spend the rest of my life with him.
How y'all feel about that? Right quick. You find a man or a woman and y'all, getting acquainted and y'all liking each other. Y'all feeling each other. Y'all go from dating to exclusively dating to boyfriend and girlfriend to boom, I want you to be my wife, right? But his family doesn't like you, or maybe y'all beliefs and things don't line up. They don't want you for him. They want him to be with somebody else, or they don't want him to be with anybody, or they're just protective over him, or something just ain't clicking when it comes to the relationship between you and your partner's family. How do you proceed? Do you agree with you're not marrying them, you're marrying me? Or are you like, no, I need to make sure that everything is at least cordial, between me and your family before we proceed, because you just never know. And some people probably like, who cares about what the family think? F the family, whatever. Under certain circumstances, yes, F the family. But if you're with a person that really takes into consideration what their family has to say, whatever they family says goes, they family say jump and they say how high, you might want to reevaluate the situation. Because if they can manipulate your partner, or if they can make your partner believe something that ain't even true, or have your partner going against your wishes, having them flip and switch on you, change their mind and opinion on certain things, make decisions for them in their lives, that can take a toll on the relationship. So are you guys big on that? If your partner is very family oriented and their family plays a major role in their life, but the family is not feeling you, or maybe not feeling your background, or not feeling your parents, it's just not aligning. The relationship is not where it needs to be. Do you proceed with the marriage, or you let that thing go? Let me know.
Regardless of how rough the beginning was, we decided to settle and we began our marriage just like that. My husband, who we'll call Zach, comes from a very nuclear family. You know those families where you don't really get along with many cousins, aunties, so it was just his sister, his mother, father, and Zach himself. So when I mean that his relatives did not like me, it was very cardinal relatives to him. As for me, issues came from the church that I went to, but not really relatives because my family is very dysfunctional and it's not the main reason that we're here. Anyway, Zach and I agreed that whether people were willing to let us get married or they were not willing, would still go ahead, even if it meant hiring a pastor, that none of our churches would get involved. Let me also mention here that Zach is very much a mommy's boy. I mean, he's the only son that she has, so she is very much involved in his life. And this should have been the first red flag for me not to go ahead with this marriage, but you know how love is sometimes.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Red flag energy. All right. Definitely.
Number one is marrying a mommy's boy, but for me, I love this man so much, and he promised me that he would do whatever it takes to make sure that his mother gets comfortable with me and that we do end up having a happy home. Remember, I come from a very dysfunctional family, so it was very important that a functional family comes from me. I didn't want my kids to go through what I had gone through, so this marriage was very much important, but I forgot the necessary things. Anyway, that aside, Zach and I did end up getting married. We had a very beautiful wedding. His family attended. And everything was going on just fine. The preparations were a bit stressful. Not everyone was on board. His family left us to eat because, I mean, they were not really happy that I was going to be Zach's bride. We did what we had to do and we had a very beautiful wedding. Now, you know how they say marriage is not really the wedding, it's everything after the wedding? This is where all the issues started between Zach and I. The first few things that would really irritate me is how his mother was always present in our house. If it wasn't the mother, it was the sister. It's like these two just used to rotate. Once one goes, the other person comes in. And his sister was also old enough. She was in uni. So she knew exactly what she was coming to do. I mean, why aren't you in school? And why is your mother here every single day? Also, I forgot to mention that when Zach and I were supposed to go for our honeymoon, his family decided that it was also the very perfect time for them to go for a family vacation. So his family ended up choosing the same destination as us for their vacation. What? So the entire honeymoon was more like a family reunion for them because it wasn't just about me and Zach, it was about his entire family as well. Honestly, this moment was so awkward for me because what do you mean my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, your sister is here? I couldn't even wear my bikinis comfortably and I had planned out a whole Shein cut. I had gotten a whole lot of bathing suits. I had planned out my honeymoon, but it ended up being a family vacation, unfortunately. So already, though my marriage was very, very much fresh, I could already see the problems that I was going to face because why is your family so invested in your marriage? I understand you're the only son, but you are grown up. That's why you have chosen to get married. Right. Anyway, the honeymoon passed. I just taught myself to enjoy whatever I could. I took my pictures and that was it for me. I was still very much in love with my husband. So sometimes even the bullshit that he would bring on my plate, I would just consume it. You know, when you're in love, you even tolerate things that, you know, this could be wrong, but you just don't want to accept that it's wrong. So you end up convincing yourself that maybe it's normal and you just make excuses for the person. Right. So eventually it got to a point where we were married, we were in our own house, but his family was constantly frequenting our home. I had no problem with that, but why can't you also just stay even at least more than a week in your own house? No week literally ever went by without them coming to our house. At this point, we are 1 year into our marriage, and let me tell you that a week had never passed without me seeing these people in my house. And also, to make matters worse, I married the breadwinner of the family, so everyone needed Zach in their lives somehow. They got their palm out. Apart from these frequent visits, another thing that would get to me is how these people will visit. They were in my house. It became their house and their rules. We had to abide by what they wanted to eat, when they wanted us to cook, what time I should cook. Everything had to revolve around them. Even the washing powder that I use, they needed to choose it. Zach's mother in the kitchen would always go on about how her son doesn't like that type of food. I should cook it like this. He doesn't prefer it when I do what. It was always as if she married him and not me. But one thing I told myself is I will not allow these people finish the peace in my own house. I will make the rules and I will make my own peace. So every time she would say that, I would do the exact opposite. Even if sometimes I knew what she was saying was right, I would just intentionally do the opposite because I'm not going to give her the satisfaction that she's ruling this house. Anyway, months went by and this was getting out of hand. Even people around me, like my friends, every time I would explain my situation to them, everyone would literally be in shock because who behaves like that? Also, just because Zach was the breadwinner, it does not mean that these people were not living well. They were living well off. It's just that Zach had the most money.
Had more
above
than him,
all
all
of
right.
them. And I think as a couple, we were doing what we could because we were paying for his sister's school fees, which we didn't have to before the marriage. But after I got married, apparently Zach was stingy if he wasn't helping his family. So we took up the responsibility of her fees. We'd tell
Y'all
her
see what I'm saying? Y'all see what I'm saying? They were not responsible for his sister's school fees until after they got married. The family started saying, you ain't doing what you used to do for us. You ain't doing as much as you used to do for us since you got married. So here, let me throw some your way for you to take care of. Oh, no, ma'am. Oh, no, ma'am. Excuse me? And that's what I would have told my husband. No, we not. Like she said, the family is well off. They got money. He just has more than them. That is not that man's responsibility to take care of them school fees for his sister. Now, yes, parents down bad. They don't have any money. Something, happened. They need him to step in for a little bit so they get back on their feet so that she can continue her education. By all means, if he got it, cool. But just to say, you ain't doing what you used to do for us. Here, come do this. That's crazy. That's crazy. How y'all handle situations like that? Because it happens. It happens a lot. I hear about it all the time. These families, these parents, these mothers, these siblings, they get jealous, right? And they start feeling like, oh, this new person you got in your life is taking away from what we were getting from you, our benefit. And really, that's that person's problem because they allowed their family to count their pockets. They allowed their family to use them. And I understand, share the wealth. I'm with it 100%. I'm with that movement 100%. Put your family on, help your family get to a better position, but they have to work though. You don't give it, they work. If you got the blueprint, you can teach them how to go get it so they can have it. But as far as to just giving, no, I can tell you what I know. You can pick my brain. I can put you on, but I'm not going to do all the work and you get to sit back and kick back and relax. And that's what this family doing. They getting their own money, but they want his too. That's crazy.
She needed, but still I was never seen as a good wife. To be honest, there was only so much I could take, and at this point I didn't even have a solution for my problem until one day I was scrolling through TikTok and I came across this TikTok live. This TikTok live was basically a woman talking about how you can cast a spell on someone, make sure they do whatever you want, and somehow I ended up stumbling on a point where she mentioned to say, if you want someone to do whatever you would like them to do, especially in the situation of love, just get your period blood and mix it with the food that they would eat.
Girl,
I know this
you
is
were
absurd,
influenced.
but I was just trying it as a social experiment, to say the least. To be honest,
How you gonna social experiment your cycle blood in somebody's food? Hold on now. I ain't with what the family trying to do and trying to act like you ain't a good wife and all of this stuff. I'm not with that at all. But you finna play with their food? You finna play with their food? Oof.
I think it would work. So one day I just randomly tried what the woman was saying. According to her, every time that you remove your pad, you just get it and then just twist it in the food or whatever you were cooking. And she also mentioned that it was preferable that you cook food that is also red, e.g. maybe gravy. In the gravy, you just squeeze your pad in there or your tampon or whatever you are using, and that would work. Honestly, for me, I just thought she was bluffing. So I said, let me try it once. And somehow that day, everything that I told Zach to do, he did, even against his own mother's will. Honestly, I was still starstruck because I was wondering, is it just mere coincidence or whatever I did just worked? Because it had never happened that Zach did what I told him and not what his mother said. So, just like any logical person, I decided to try the same thing but on his mother and then see if she would control what we were going to eat that day. And let me tell you what, it worked again. Honestly, I couldn't believe what I had just noticed because you can't tell me at this point it was mere coincidence that I tried it on his mother and I tried it on Zach, and for both of them it worked, and the mother was a pain in the ass. So for it to work on her, I knew I was up to something. Sorry.
Y'all with this? I hear it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I hear it all the time. You want that man, you want that woman, you better make him or her some spaghetti. Okay? You better make him or her some spaghetti. If you want him or her to do what it is you want them to do, you want long lasting love, you better make them some spaghetti. Now I figured there was a few people out there doing it, okay? Because who's just saying do something, ain't nobody gonna do it. But I just want to know if any of my watchers or any of you guys out there cooking on your cycle. And if you are, Okay. Does it work? I'm never going to try it. That's nasty. I'm not playing with nobody's food. But I just want to know, does it work? For real, for real? Is she bluffing? The other people on the internet, are they bluffing? You know what I'm saying? Do it really work? I'm never going to try it again. I'm not playing with nobody's food because I don't want nobody to play with mine. And that's why you don't eat at everybody's house either, because you don't know what they want or trying to get you to do. You know what I'm saying? They praying over your food and they squeezing the tampon over it and everything else, and you just, oh, this the best I ever had. I ain't finna play with it like that. But have y'all ever did that? Let me know down in the comments. I want to know, for real. Y'all toxic. Y'all a little crazy too. Are y'all nasty? Let me know.
Been feeding my husband and his family period blood, part 2. So after I had tried it on my mother-in-law and it worked so good, that what we ate, what I wore, because even what I wore, she would control. If I tell you this woman was a control freak, she was such a control freak, and it got to me. So when I noticed that the period hack worked, I was like, I might as well use it to my advantage every single day that I needed it. I need you all to realize that for me, this started as a social experiment from a live that I watched on TikTok, but I was just shocked and amazed at how good it was working. I decided to go on, and I think it just got a little too much because I started using it even on people that did not deserve that trick. By the way, in case you're wondering, at some point Zach ended up cheating in my marriage, and that meant that both of us ended up getting the virus. I hope you know which one I'm talking about. So even as I was using this trick, initially it was for Zach because I knew both of us had the virus. I couldn't infect him with anything. Also, the stupid me thought I couldn't get anyone infected through food because the food would be cooked and the virus would go. As long as the blood was in there, that would work. But that is where I'm saying I think I took it a little bit too far. Also, it was working to my advantage. And even if I know I took it a little bit too far, I think his family did push me. The only person who maintained a safe distance and a
So the husband started cheating. He got infected. And then he infected her. And then she was still putting the blood in people's food with the infections. Is that what she just said? Did I hear that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this not witchcraft?
Food distance was Zach's father, my father-in-law, who I had no problem with. It's just that sometimes he was also a bit too nosy. Also, let me mention here that at no point did I think this was witchcraft. For me, I just thought it was a trick that worked until a few days ago when I noticed someone had posted on TikTok to say they had used the similar trick before. When I saw that on TikTok and I saw the comments that were under it, to be honest, I started to feel guilty, and I thought maybe this is something I should talk about and just clarify if this is witchcraft or maybe it's just the hack that works, because I have been using it and it has been very efficient for me.
Crazy.
Also, why I think I took this trick a little too far, because I have been married for barely over a year, but the number of miscarriages I've had and the things that have been happening to me have been very weird. I get very weird and vivid dreams. I can't maintain a pregnancy, and every time we go to the hospital, Zach or I had the problems. So it has become a situation of me wondering if what I did is getting back to me, or maybe that's the price I had to pay for what I did. Yikes. That's the story from our good sis. If you've ever experienced that before, which I would like to believe that you haven't, what would you do in her situation? Do you think she took her measures or her tricks a little bit too far? And if you're in the shoes of our good sis, what would you have done especially if you found yourself with in-laws that were so difficult to handle? Anyway, don't forget to register for the upcoming makeup class on the 19th of this month. But from me to you as always, love you, bye.
Okay, so it looks like she tells stories. She tells other people's stories for them, because I did see at the top of the TikTok where she was saying this is not my experience. So she was just telling a story that someone else had pretty much told to her. Okay, this is somebody's experience. It may not have been her experience, but this is somebody's experience. It's the family members for me. I mean, I feel sorry for the husband too. Anybody that is eating cycle blood, right, and they don't know it, I feel bad for them. But then you took it a step further and you gave it to the family because they were nosy or too involved, or I think you shouldn't have even married this man. I think you kind of knew what you were signing up for. You thought that maybe once we get married, he would put you first. And that's not the case, because he was feeding you that, oh, you're marrying me, not them. No, in reality, she's marrying them, not you, because whatever they say goes. If they say you need to jump, you gonna jump. If they say you need to leave, you gonna leave. They came in and controlled your household. She definitely married them and did not marry you, for sure. But you was telling her all this good stuff, and now y'all get married and things get worse. Do they deserve to eat period blood? No, don't play with nobody food. That is nasty. That is disgusting. I think she shouldn't have even married the dude. What y'all think. Y'all let me know down below what y'all think about this situation. Have you guys ever done this before? Have you heard of somebody doing this? Has it been done to you? I want to know. All right, look, if you like videos from me and you want to see more is to come. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, because right now, King Day is out. Peace. The motherfucking build.
Run it up was up. Yeah, BRISKO, not know when was up. Run that shit, we had all the show. Say that shit for your camera.